Okay, guys. Back by popular demand, and by popular demand, I mean that one mutual friend texted us and said he was bored and wanted a new episode. I said, why the fuck not? This is the Forced Fumble. It's free agency week. It's the end of free agency week. It's about time you got our perspective on this shit. It's a week of new horizons, fun, mirth, and ultimately probably a lot of disappointment, just like me starting any podcast series. I am D-Pro. I'm joined as always by JD, Chewbacca. Gentlemen, hello. We are going to be talking about free agency as we see them, the best, the worst moves, the moves that had us saying, what? Like Max Crosby becoming a Raven for a couple of hours. But Chewbacca, I have to start with you because I know that free agency isn't exactly your thing. So not to break the fourth wall or anything, but I understand you had to consult an outsider here to get some intel on what actually happened this week. And who did you go to for that advice?
Well, I went to my B- student who knows everything about football because he's just not spending enough time with his studies. So we're driving to school the other day, and I said, "Oh, I didn't realize free agency started." He said, "Yeah, where you been?" Like I said, the guys from the Fumble are like, "We got to do a free agency episode." I was like, "Fuck." He's like, "All right, Dad, listen, deep breaths." Right. And he proceeded to give me some things, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. Nobody can ignore the big thing that we'll obviously talk about, being that one of us is a miserable Jet fan. And yeah,
Who could that be?
what I'm looking for, and I know that the fans are looking forward, is to having both of you fine gentlemen put our finger on the pulse of what is free agency.
Yeah, and a big thank you to two people who reached out to me in separate ways. Calvin, who texted me and said, "Can you please do an emergency pod based on who the Jets just got back on the team?" And then our other friend Ichiro, who was just saying, who said that morning, please do a free agency podcast. So shout out to our listeners. Thank you so much.
Yes. Ichiro, next month, put your head in the sand like I'm going to put mine in the sand because I don't need to do a fucking draft fucking pod.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen with or without you, my friend. I know you don't like it, but it's something that we love to do. But kudos to you, Chewbacca, as I have to get this in there, for leveraging your children for the greater good. I currently have my 16-year-old, soon to be 17-year-old, shopping for cars for me online. It's great. It's a nice little personal assistant, right? It's a beautiful thing.
Yep. Son GPT.
I like that. It'd be great if your son's name was Chad, because then you could say Chad GPT.
With all due
Nice.
respect to one of my good friends, Chad, I'm thankful that my son's name is not Chad.
I am too.
Terrible name, Chad. What do you do with
I mean,
the Chad?
On South Beach, it's probably awesome, but
Yeah.
or Christopher Street, but other than those places, maybe
You know what?
San Fran, maybe San Fran.
Great name, Max. Max is a great name, especially with a fella with two X's who, for a few minutes here, was a Baltimore Raven for 2 first-round picks, going to the Las Vegas Raiders, and then suddenly he wasn't. Now, Chewbacca, you may be confused here.
Not the realtor?
The realtor was not almost a Baltimore Raven. And the good news is that means he's going to be able to make all of his open house commitments this weekend in Las Vegas. And yeah. But so
better be a smart ass than a dumbass. So touche.
But everybody knows this happened, right? And it's happened before. Teams get cold feet, and sometimes the player or the coach backs out. It's happened famously a bunch of years ago with Josh McDaniel. They announced he was the new Colts head coach, and suddenly he wasn't. So how do you guys feel about this? Do you feel like all's fair in love and football, or just a fucked up dick move that should never have happened?
Go ahead.
This is the type of thing where we're talking about like a physical ailment for someone. And they obviously saw something, because I think at that point, once you acquire the guy, you could probably get his medicals, and then you could look, and they probably consulted a few doctors or even said, and were like, nope, we want out. However, go ahead.
I just want to be clear that at this point, we're just speculating. Like whenever you're hearing this, we still don't know officially, other than Eric DeCosta said, he didn't say anything about the medicals, and I don't think he can anyway, but he basically gave a broad statement saying we went in there and we didn't feel good about it, and we backed out. So you're right. I mean, it could be something they saw in the medicals, because they knew he had this injury at the end of the season, but something came out there, and there's all sorts of speculation. Is it the Trey Hendrickson thing? What did they say? Oh, we can get a much better deal getting Hendrickson in here from the Bengals, and then said, fuck it, let's back out while we still can.
But I love the Raiders just being who who they are, and that is completely dysfunctional here. They keep calling, like, now it's spin. Now that this is off, it's spin. They keep calling Crosby the heart and soul of the team, which is amazing because the rest of the body is colder than Ernie Anastas right now. So
Oh, too soon. Too soon. No, but look at what the fuck was that just happened with Crosby and the Raiders? You got Geno coming back to your beloved Jets. All I can say is, Cleveland Browns fans, stay tuned because something's coming. Something really fucking stupid must be coming. It's just like celebrities dying in 3, right? So it's Raiders, Jets, Cleveland. You're up. You're on the clock.
Chewbacca, something stupid is coming. His name is Deshaun Watson, and he comes a lot
yeah, yeah, in
for the
parlors.
Browns.
But like you could, and speaking of the spin too, now Max Crosby himself has joined the echo chamber here and the spin. He said like, yeah, I love it here. I love the fans. I love the city. And what the subtext there is, I love the fans. I love the city, just not the third coaching regime, the fourth quarterback experiment, or the organizational vision that looks like it was drawn by Ray Charles on an Etch-a-Sketch during a power outage. You know, it is.
Actually, the power outage really wouldn't affect Ray Charles, if you think about it.
Yeah, Ray Charles wouldn't be on an Etch-a-Sketch either, but you know, way to work with the bit.
I thought the Etch was the remote. We don't know.
Way to work with the bit.
But I feel bad for Max Crosby in this situation. You know, he thought he was going to a new place. I guess he was going to embrace it. And then suddenly he's back in the house that he was just being ushered out of, and he has to act like home sweet home. This is a great place to be. I mean, the good news for Max Crosby is he doesn't have to draw a beak on his Raiders tattoo that's on his arm and keep that. But it's just an awkward situation all around. I feel like at a certain point there should be some sort of discipline for a team that backs out. And again, if it is about the medicals, that's a whole other thing. If something came out there that was hidden, it wasn't completely clear. But if they just got a better fucking deal with somebody else and backed out at the 11th hour, I feel like you should at least lose like a 7th round pick or something, because that's an embarrassment. So guys, let's talk other free agency moves. Specifically, each one of us is going to talk about a move or two that we liked. We thought good move is going to work out. A move where we think, this is not going to work out. Or a move where we have absolutely no idea. A wild card type of move where we don't know what's going to work out or not. We're just fascinated to see it actually take place. And I'm going to start the conversation with a move where I'm absolutely, over the past week, have seen it all 3 different ways. And I'm going to land right in the middle with, I'm just fascinated to see how it's going to work. That's with Geno Smith coming back to my New York Jets. Obviously, it's an LOL Jets type of moment. On the other hand, what the hell else were they going to do? They were not going to start Justin Fields again. I don't think Kyler Murray was going to come here. And it feels wild that, you know, my son, when he went to his first Jets game, he was 7. He's getting his license in a few weeks. His first Jets game was Geno Smith's last season. Now it's 9.5 years later. And this guy's coming back to, it's like a couple that broke up. And then years and years later, they see each other at 9:45 at the Applebee's bar, and they realize we both fucked up, and we kind of need each other. Let's give it one more shot. What do you guys think? I don't know.
It's kind of like my marriage, so it worked out for me, but we're talking about the New York Jets here, so it's probably not going to work out.
Geno or the Jets in this situation?
Look, hey, I was going to get to this later, but I mean, if Geno gives them a 6-11 season, he will have doubled last season's win total. So I guess that's technically working out. Technically, I don't know.
The bar's not very high. Yeah.
You're just talking about a QB who played a very large role in securing a franchise a number 1 overall draft pick.
Over the Jets.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Over the Jets.
Yes, indeed. I'm more on this is a bad thing, less of a like, let's see how this turns out. We've seen this story before.
I just feel like they need a guy in there that is somewhat stable, knows how to kind of run an offense, has shown some glimmers of hope over the past few years. And yes, he had a horrible year last year with Las Vegas. Didn't have a great offensive line, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know, man. I look at football now, especially the Jets, as just cinema. You know, is this going to be a movie where a whole bunch of bad shit happens? Like maybe, but
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna equate it to the movies, you're walking into Howard the Duck this year for the New York Jets. So,
Cleveland.
yeah.
CG. So which tell me one of yours a move that you think is going to work out.
A move that I think is going to work out. I like fit in the NFL. I like saying, like looking at all the chess pieces and saying, or puzzle pieces, I should say, and seeing where things fit. And one fit I really like is Mike Evans to the 49ers. He's just, future Hall of Famer, obviously, uh, past his prime, all good. But I don't know that this signing necessarily elevates Purdy or the 49ers as a whole, but I see a couple needs for the Niners right now, like a big body to pair with the talented but injured Ricky Pearsall, slot receiver Demarcus Robinson. I think he'll be a good solution for Brock Purdy, who loves throwing to big receivers over the middle. And then I don't know, Purdy's going to need like a reliable receiver on those crucial downs, and Evans feasts in that environment. And especially with George Kittle on the wrong side of 30, rehabbing a torn Achilles. So with Evans healthy and back again, I think that's who he could be for the 49ers.
I like it.
I think for the wide receiver room too, anytime you can get a veteran, I think widely regarded as a class act type of guy like Mike Evans. Yeah, that's only positive, I think. But you know,
Yeah.
that's only
Yeah, and I
positive.
think the contract is 3 years, 42 million, not like a backbreaker or anything, I don't think.
So Chewbacca, give me one of yours. A movie you think is going to work.
I'm so bought into Dan Campbell, and I so love Dan Campbell and what he had going there, and I want to believe in my heart of hearts that last season was a one-off as to what will be his tenure in Detroit, and I like that Gibbs has a Pacheco now coming over to play with him. Um, Pacheco didn't really have a very big year last year, but he didn't get a ton of touches. I think Gibbs is still going to carry, get most of the workload. But I think Pacheco, he could give them a nice 1-2 punch with Gibbs, and we'll see what happens. I think they're back to they're definitely double-digit wins next year, in my opinion, but hopefully they can really do something special again, get 13, 14 wins, and maybe finally bring one to the city of Detroit. Not that I have a soft spot, and I think the city of Detroit, from everything I've heard about it, is just a piece of crap. But I love Dan Campbell, so
He's now the city. He represents the city now. So I'm with you, Chewbacca, totally. I don't know if he's going to be better 1-2 punch than Montgomery was. Only time will tell. Uh, sticking in the RB room, I think it will work is Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs. It's kind of a no-brainer. They haven't really had a consistent run game in many years. I mean, last year, Kareem Hunt was their leading rusher with like 611 yards, I think it was. And I think Patrick Mahomes is going to need that if he wants to get back on top. And yeah, if Walker can stay healthy, I think he's a great addition to that team.
The only thing about Walker that concerns me is if you look at his regular season play and his postseason play, it's like Jekyll and Hyde, two completely different outputs. So who did they sign? Did they sign Kenneth Walker from the first 90% of the season or the last 10%? So I'm interested as hell. Don't get me wrong. He is a big play guy, and sometimes he goes for the big play too much to his detriment and gets wrapped up in the backfield. Andy Reid going back to a bell cow for the first time since like 2019. I think that alone is a headline. So I'm interested to see how this turns out.
Same. Can we go over to moves that we think will not work? I'll start that with Tua Tagovailoa to the Atlanta Falcons.
This is such a layup. I love it.
It's just too obvious for me. I don't know. I mean, anything could work in the NFL, and the guy's got talent, obviously, based on where he was drafted and everything. But Michael Penix, who's recovering from his third ACL tear, this is Mooney this time, and you're gonna get insurance with with so
vegetable.
yeah, basically a guy who is 1 hit away from being Jack Nicholson at the end of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I don't see how on earth this works out. What, he starts until Penix is ready, and then he comes in, and I don't know. A guy like Geno Smith, again, to go back to Geno, but like if you're gonna have a guy who's gonna have to start 5, 6, 7 games, whatever it is, Maybe bringing a guy who's healthy or known for being healthy. I don't understand this move at all.
If you're a neurologist based in Atlanta, you are saying, "We're in the money," you know, like you're doing cartwheels down Peachtree Street.
If you're the one with like the billboards, if you're like the ones who, one day I want to get to be billboard status like that neurologist, that's the
Yep.
one who's going to get him. Just like as I
Ah,
drive by some of these realtors' billboard signs, I'm like, one day.
one day, the nice guy in real estate will be up there too.
So I leave it.
Way to take that and make it all about you, Chewbacca.
Business people, and Arthur Blank clearly must be one. He's basically put out 90% of the mom and pop hardware stores across this country. Probably he's a genius. Um, when franchises that are owned by people that I at least perceive to be smart business people make, this is a Jets move. This is a Jets move. This is a Cleveland move. This doesn't seem, not that the Falcons are, you know, the first name that rolls off your tongue when you think about successful NFL franchises, but they've always been a middle of the pack. But I don't know. I just don't get it. I mean, it makes no sense.
This is this is the same organization that they handed out this like 350 million, however what it was, to Kirk Cousins, and then immediately drafted a guy like that and what the
Kirk,
first round.
Kirk Cousins has been stealing money ever since his backup role. To who did he come in for? He came in for RG3.
RG3, yeah.
RG3,
Mhm.
he's been stealing money ever since then. He must have the secrets. He's got the deep state secrets on Goodell or whatever, because he's like the highest paid quarterback, I think, right, or amongst the highest paid quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. He's done nothing. He's done nothing.
I think he got whatever files that Sam Bradford originally had. Sam Bradford made a ton of money not having a lot of
He
success
was
either.
the Sam Bradford, if memory serves, was the last first round draft pick quarterback to get the big money. And then they were like, yeah, we're going to stop doing this.
So what about you, JD?
What won't work, the free agent signing for me is Tyler Linderbaum, the center that the Raiders signed. A little bit to do with the player and a lot to do with the organization. So let me elaborate a little bit. He's got a 3-year, $81 million deal. So they
Huge.
just paid, yeah, I mean, they just paid a center like he's snapping the ball to God, with that kind of salary and that amount per year. The Raiders have multiple holes on that roster, and this contract just uses up a massive portion of cap space on a single interior line position. So I'm completely baffled by the math of it and the why. I mean, the good news is the snap will be perfect, but the bad news is everything after that is still the Raiders.
Yeah.
So that's elite tackle money, Depro Baca. Tackle is inherently more valuable than the center, right? So
I feel like it's just a communication thing between him and obviously the incoming Mendoza, the new quarterbacks coming in. So they overpaid, making sure that they had that connection point. I guess still an overpay, but
yeah, they just spent a fortune on the one guy guaranteed to touch the ball every play, and still somehow the least responsible for what happens next, and that's the center. So this guy's looking to be primed to be like Bradford in that bag getter Hall of Fame of bad contracts. But player's okay. Don't get me wrong. There's better centers in my opinion, but what do I know?
he's making a ton more than the second most well-paid center in the league too. I looked at some lists. It's like number one.
9 million.
Yeah,
9 million more per year than the second.
that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chewbacca, give me a bad one.
Well, I heartfelt condolences to anybody who has Justin Jefferson in your keeper leagues, but Black Doug Flutie's coming to town, and I don't care what he did at Oklahoma. I don't care what promise his career might have had at one point, but I do. I just think of I think of the line, JD. You must have seen the thing on the '85 Bears where they were, where Singletary goes to visit Buddy Ryan as he's on his way
In the
out and
hospital.
whatnot. And I
Yeah.
think of Richard Dent, Richard Dent in the documentary being like, "You're gonna put, I'd rather have a banged up McMahon than a midget," and he's calling Doug Flutie a midget. And yeah, Minnesota Vikings have gotten, a black Doug Flutie coming to town, and I just don't see how this is going to end well for them. I don't play fantasy. I've made no uh, secret about that on this podcast, but I would say stay away from Justin Jefferson. Have at it.
I just feel bad for. I just need to say this. I know it's not the popular thing to say, but I feel bad for this guy because he flames out in Arizona, and now people are absolutely relentless with the midget jokes because of how short he is compared to other quarterbacks, and it's such low hanging fruit, and it's such an obvious joke. And I
It's,
just feel the dude.
it's low hanging fruit, but Kyler Murray could reach it. Wait, womp.
At least that was clever. I'll give you that one. That was pretty.
Talking about you, it was like set spike.
Baca and Deep Row, this was my wild card choice. So, which means like I just don't know. Like flip a coin for me, and I'll tell you why. You get rid of JJ McCarthy, the experiment is over. Hopefully, in a perfect scenario, this is a QB friendly system here that Kyler Murray is stepping into. Kyler presents a safer floor and a higher ceiling than JJ in a system like this. So, but he's a total wild card. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Pro Bowl in the first few years, he was a dual threat. No longer is a true dual threat as a QB. But look, many quarterbacks have benefited going back to school with Professor Kevin O'Connell. Look at Matt Stafford, during his time with him. Kirk Cousins, as we mentioned earlier, Darnold, even Josh Dobbs flashed and had a career year under Kevin O'Connell.
I
But
don't
the
doubt.
bottom
Let me
line,
just. I'm sorry. I don't doubt Kevin O'Connell at all. I doubt Kyler Murray. That's just.
oh, there's no question. I mean, and I'm not putting him in the good as a result of this. I'm saying like I'm interested to see how this turns out. Could be bad. Yeah, it could be bad. But Minnesota can no longer afford to fail Justin Jefferson. Like you've got him in his prime. Like you can't fuck around anymore. So they better get this right.
It can't possibly be worse for Justin Jefferson than it was last year with McCarthy and Brosmer and the worst quarterback play in the league. So if you spent a first round pick or a high second on Justin Jefferson, probably did not do very well last year. So to Chewbacca's point, hedge your bets, temper your expectations rather, because it could be rough sledding. But I think that there should be an uptick going from McCarthy to Murray, but time will tell.
Bold statement. Kyler Murray is about like 5'9" on the roster and emotionally like 5'4". But JJ McCarthy to me, he's like 6'3", right? But spiritually like a high school sophomore. He carries himself so amateur, man. So Bush League.
He's such a douchebag.
Isn't he?
He's white Russell Wilson.
You
He's
hate
just such a douchebag. He really is such a douchebag. My wild card, I'm going to go to Gino because I'll just be there with the popcorn. Like I said, if he gives them 6 or 7 wins, he basically doubles last year's productivity. He completely shoots them in the foot for next year's draft. It's Jets. It's so Jets. So that's my wild card.
my wild card is it's half Chino and half Malik Willis to Miami. I'm fascinated, and I'm glad when my team doesn't do this. Not that we're in a great situation, but when a team puts all the chips on the table for a player who has a very small sample size of success, right? So he played a couple of very good games in place of Jordan Love last year. Kind of reminds me of a situation, I believe it was 2012, when another backup Packers quarterback stepped in and had a very good game, a 6-touchdown game, and then got a big contract with the Seahawks. At the time, it was a huge contract. It was probably like $30 million, something over a few years, and then completely flamed out because he wasn't that player over time. So, I mean, as a Jets fan, I certainly hope it doesn't work out, but I'm going to be fascinated to see what Malik Willis has done, considering he was kind of a washout on Tennessee, and now it seems like he's grown. So, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm cautiously optimistic, actually. So I put him in more of the good signing rather than wild card in my eyes, because I watched a lot of Packers being a Bears fan. And so I saw his games and saw what he can do. I was stunned by the power in his arm all of a sudden and his seemingly intelligent and capable pocket presence. I was like, okay,
Oh,
I see why he got paid.
Yeah,
It's not just like he balled out. It's like, no, this guy showed improvement and showed talent. So yeah, he sucked, but I don't know, was not the same guy in those games that I watched.
Listen, guys
So
are capable of sucking and then not sucking. That's why the stuff with Kyler Murray is fascinating. That's why like Sam Darnold's arc is so fascinating because some guys learn and improve, and then some guys just kind of stay like this forever and never get any better.
but we are too fickle with young QBs, I think. It's the court of public opinion and critiquing week to week with young QBs. I think they need a lot more time to develop. Brady has even said so much in interviews. What do you guys think about that? I mean, do you think they're way too harsh on these young
The
guys?
culture's changed, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like a buy the Powerball ticket on Tuesday and find out, Friday type of league anymore. It's the rub off, scratch off. I need to know
Yeah.
instant gratification. Is this, was the pick justified and so on and so forth? And it's wrong. It's just wrong. It's too difficult to position to play. You just played a college season. Okay, well, if 15 to 20% of maybe 25% of the guys you just played up against are going to even end up in the league, now you're playing with 100% of people who deserve to be in the league. And the days need to come back of where you draft a quarterback, regardless of Mendoza status or just any other Heisman status, and just plug them into play. They need to be reared into the position. They give no respect to how hard it is to play this position and how much you need somebody, even if you're coming up under the tutelage of a journeyman or just somebody who's, in the twilight of their career, who's gonna go out and get you 7 or 8 wins. Enough with the letting the fans dictate and the owner dictate. Let the smart football people, the GMs, the scouts, let them dictate. And you'll see better quarterback play. You just will.
Yeah. Can't disagree.
100%. Yeah. It's just a different world. I mean, can you imagine a world where, Aaron Rodgers did not get to sit behind Brett Favre for all those years that he did?
Exactly. Steve Young. I mean, it just exactly. You need that. And they're just clearly not ready. They're
Yeah.
not ready. They're still growing. They're still growing and maturing in their life. They don't have life experience yet.
Yeah, even like Jordan Love under Aaron Rodgers for a little while.
And of course,
That's a recent.
Aaron Rodgers, it's funny because Aaron Rodgers did not like the pick, or it's like they didn't let me know that they were making the pick, even though he himself had sat behind a quarterback. So I I don't think he saw that as being the same thing as all parts being equal. I think he thought as like this guy's gonna be my replacement next year. I've had fun here, but I want to close with this thought, and this is totally the Italian Woody Allen of me, super nitpicky of me, but I want to see if you guys share my frustration in this area, right? Because this is especially happening during free agency. I hear it all the time. I see it all the time. Chewbacca, you're not in social media much. You don't see it as much, but
Social media.
but it's NFL reporters or people who are posing as NFL reporters trying to make a story where there is no story, adding a narrative where there is not really a narrative. So, for instance, I know this wasn't part of free agency, but the Bears trade DJ Moore to the Bills. Okay, that's fine. There's not really much of a story there, but of course, it has to be turned into, DJ Moore to the Bills. More goes under Joe Brady's coaching tree and become another weapon for Josh Allen. Like you don't need this fucking you don't need all this information. Like you're just trying so hard to make it a story when it's not a story. You're like going from fucking Ben Johnson to Joe Brady. Like we fucking know. We know who the coaches are, but what's the story? It's like, is he getting a huge contract? Is he, I don't, did he lose a limb and he got the limb reattached and he's coming back to the league? Like that's a story. But like just going from one coach to the other, like, am I alone here? Does this bother you guys as much as it bothers me?
It does, and I don't like the attempt at connective tissue of like, Carson Wentz. Look for him to join the Jets because the OC worked with him, in 2009.
Years ago.
It's like it doesn't work that way. That's my 2 cents.
my big, and you know this about me, JD. I had a huge problem with another weapon. It bothers me so fucking much because not everybody's a weapon. Like DJ Moore might be a weapon, like a wooden spoon is a weapon. Like it kind of depends on who's using it. Like if my mother's using it, then maybe it's a weapon. But like otherwise, no. And it's just like, and first of all, you need a weapon first before you can have another weapon. Like I'm not sure Josh Allen has any weapons right now. So report, I'm talking specifically to you. Stop saying another weapon. It's just like this trope that you constantly throw out there. Sometimes a transaction is just a transaction. That's it. No story. That's it. So, guys, so how do you feel about? Do you want to do a draft reaction or do you want to do a draft predictions show? Let me know, listeners, what you think. I'll be
Well, that
dying.
was a question for the listeners. I had my answer, but
It's
you know.
too. Aka, I'd love to hear you giving draft predictions based off Chat GPT. But well, we'll talk about that. But either way, you know that's my favorite time of year. We'll see you around draft time. Chewbacca at the draft. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's when the general managers get together and they choose which college players that they would like to draft to their team. I know you only pay attention during the season.
Yeah, no. For you to call that your favorite time of the year, especially as a Jet fan,
Of course, it's
that's just forget opening day, forget week 3 or 4 or week 12. You know,
no day. That sucks. Like because during the
wild card weekend.
team. I can still pretend that we have a good team during draft. Like I can still squint and see, like, oh, okay, I can see the pieces for a good team. Opening day, I know that we suck because I can see it on the field.
This is sad. This is really sad. I need a Xanax. You look through the draft as the eyes of an NFL fan, not as a New York Jets fan. Because if you look through the eyes as a New York Jets fan, I agree with Chewbacca. You'd be suicidal.
Yeah, no, I you know me. I love the stories. Hence why I love Free Agency Week. I love like new beginnings, new hope, changes, all the stories, like real stories. It's not always about like people who had drugs in their past and stuff like that, but it's about adversity and it's about people coming from shitty schools and I don't know. It's all that's what's possible lays before us.
It's interesting because admittedly, you guys have both actually said that you're really not into college football when the draft is obviously made up of college players. So how do you even? Maybe Baca Jr. will do that. Baca Jr. will tell you all about the lineman who got drafted out of South Dakota State in the fucking 7th round. I swear to God.
It's easier as you get up to the draft to follow 75 players than it is to follow 75 teams worth of players.
Absolutely.
I start like studying kind of in April.
It condenses it. It compresses it down to this amount of people. So
Yeah.
you know, me and JD will pick like we'll do like a little contest, be like who can guess the top 15 picks of the draft. That's not that much homework because you're only looking at like a pool of like 40 players.
The winner gets a kiss from the from the loser.
Oh wow! So we're looking forward to that. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks to everybody who actually wanted us to do this show.
Both of you.
Yes, and thanks Chewbacca for finally finding your laptop charger. It only took you a couple of hours.
Luckily, we weren't expected on live, so I didn't keep both of these interested jerk offs waiting. Sorry, they're not jerk offs. You can edit that out or leave it in. I don't give a shit.
We'll see you next time on the Force Fumble.
Later.